Hola amigas, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend, long weekend if you were off on Monday, and I hope that everyone stayed safe out there. I'm bringing you guys today a little bit of a different video, but first give me 1 second. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. I wanted to raise up the phone so that it would be easier. So I'm sitting outside on my balcony. Scenery is a little different than what you guys are used to seeing, so I hope you guys enjoy this background. I just wanted to do the video outside because my son is playing Xbox in the living room, and also I wanted to change the scenery a little. So today's video is going to be a little different. I'm not bringing you guys a Dollar Tree haul or a shopping haul. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about weight loss surgery and its ups and downs of it. So for those that don't know, I had gastric bypass surgery in 2006, right? Yeah, 2006. At the time, my youngest daughter was 4, I believe. Not 4, she was 2 going on 3, around that age, right? And I had my girls back to back. Now, throughout the years, I was never super skinny. I've always been a thicker girl. High school, grammar school, all of that. I've never been super skinny. So I always struggled with my weight, especially after having the girls. I was put on birth control. Birth control blew me up even more. I gained a lot of weight through by being on birth control pills, and it never really worked for me. As far as it like helping me lose weight or anything, like it didn't help in that area. If anything, it blew me up. I'm not saying that birth control is supposed to help you lose weight or anything like that, but what I mean is I was trying to lose weight, I was dieting, I was trying to work out, I was trying to be healthy, and it was working against me. So that's what I mean by that. So I started going to different doctors. At the time, this was when gastric bypass and the lap band were really big. I started going to doctors, and I was crushed, doctor after doctor, because the insurance that I had at the time did not cover my weight loss surgery at all. They tried to get it to cover it, it would not. I remember sitting in these seminars, listening to all these success stories, and wanting to be one of those people at one of those seminars telling a success story, but I was not able to do that because I couldn't even get my insurance to cover the surgery at all. Not even a very small percentage, nothing, zip, zero, nada. They wouldn't cover it. So being that at the time I was employed through our family business, I got insurance through our family business, and basically my grandmother had just had the gastric bypass surgery. My aunt had also had the gastric bypass surgery. Again, I got insurance through the family business, which was the same insurance that they had, and it was approved for them. So I went to a different doctor because I was tired of these doctors at the time. I was going, if you are familiar from New Jersey, I was going to the group of doctors back then. They were in Hackensack, and they were basically very well-known doctors for the gastric bypass surgery at that time. I don't know now, but I stopped going to them, and I ended up hearing of a doctor. I think he was referred to me by a friend. I don't remember, honestly, guys, but I know that I heard of him, and it was either through my insurance that referred me to him, or a friend, or my primary doctor. One of those 3 areas. His name was Dr. Ibrahim. First and last name were the same, so he was Dr. Ibrahim. He was out of Englewood, so I made an appointment to go see him. And at the time, we had the option of either choosing the lap band or the gastric bypass surgery. And I remember telling him, listen, I know that you've said it in your seminars that you do not like to determine what type of surgery your patient gets. You like the patient to make that determination. But can you tell me what you would recommend for me? Oh, and I'm sorry, and I forgot to mention, at the time I weighed my highest, which was 177. I was a size 22 into a 24, closer to a 24 than a 22. That was the highest I've ever weighed my entire life. So he said to me, well, if you want to lose about 50 pounds, I would recommend the lap band. But if you want to lose over 100 pounds, I would recommend the gastric bypass. Now, here's the thing, guys. Back then, they did tell you that the lap band was something, it was a foreign object that was put into your body, but it could be removed. Now, for those that don't know what the lap band was, because they don't do it anymore, it was a little device that they would put around the stoma, or your stomach. And that little device had like a balloon device. Think of it as a balloon. Then you had a little port, and they would inject saline into that port to either inflate or deflate the balloon. What does that do? It either tightens your stomach up more or loosens it more. So some people, when they first do the lap band, they have to go back and get this tightened or loosened up several times, because they don't know yet what the right amount, I guess you could say, of saline or of inflation should be in that device yet, because they're still adjusting to it and adapting to it. So they don't know yet if it should be, let's say, 3 injections of saline may work for someone, but it might not work for someone else. Your lap band, you may want it a little less because you may want to eat more. Maybe you've already reached your X amount of weight that you wanted to lose, and now you want to just maintain. And the foreign device, the lap band, is reversible, meaning that they can take it out. When you do the gastric bypass surgery, they can't reverse it, right? They've already cut away at your stomach. Basically, you're left with a little tiny pouch, and that pouch, the stomach is a muscle, so essentially it can always grow and expand. And while I knew that, I wasn't, I want to say, as educated on that as I should have been. I was more excited about just losing the weight. So I said, sure, doctor, sure. Just sign me up, of course. And yes, the gentleman, I remember there was a gentleman, I think his name was Daryl, that worked with the insurance companies, and he was the person that got the surgeries basically approved, and he was awesome, you guys. He was so great. I remember getting the phone call from him. I was at work preparing a deposit for the bank, and I remember getting the call from him, and he had already heard my story about how many times I was denied. I wasn't giving my hopes up. I was just, tired of getting denied through the other insurance. He called me and he said, well, Mrs. Perez, I want to let you know that you were approved. And I was like, approved? And he was like, yeah. What day do you want to come in for your surgery? And I was like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it, because I honestly wasn't even thinking that I was going to get approved. So I remember, I forgot what month, what day. I have a very poor memory, so I don't remember, guys, honestly, what month I got the surgery done. But it was within rather soon. I want to say within a month or two, I had the surgery done. I remember, because my girls were so little, my girls were staying with my grandmother from my dad's side, and I was staying at my grandmother's from my mom's side, because she was helping take care of me. My husband was working at the time. He was rarely home because he had long hours at work, so he really couldn't help me, because regardless, guys, although it is a laparoscopic surgery, meaning that they make very small incisions in your stomach and they go in laparoscopically, it is still a very big surgery inside. So you do need help, maybe not showering, but getting in and out of the shower. You need help getting up from bed the first few days. You need help walking because you get dizzy, lightheaded, because you're also not eating the way that your body has been used to eating for all these years. It's a very big curve. So what they do is after you have the surgery, they put you start in the hospital on the clear diets. Clear diets is basically chicken broth, jellos that are like very light in color. I don't remember if applesauce was something that they did, but clear liquids, everything diet. You could have coffee, but no cream or sugar, nothing like that. It was gross, totally gross. You could have Snapples. It was part of the clear diets, like once you got home, but all diet. And I've told you guys before, I am not one that likes that diet sugar taste. So I water. My thing was water. Now, ever since I got the surgery, I always have to carry a bottle of water with me, no matter where I go, because I get dry mouth a lot. I'm always drinking water. It's just now it's just become a habit. I always have to drink water. And that's been ever since I had the surgery done, right? So I have surgery done. I go to my grandmother's house. I start my clear liquids. I remember the first time I was so thirsty, you guys, and I wanted to drink water so badly. And before, you're used to guzzling it down, right? Well, mind you, this is only a few days after surgery, not even a week post-op. I go to drink my water and it came out through my nose because my stomach got filled so quickly that it came out through my nose. Now, one thing that they tell you is that you do have to eat very slowly. You have to chew your food like into little tiny pieces until it's almost like gone before you swallow it. You do have to, if you are going to drink a liquid, drink it 30 minutes prior to eating. Do not drink till 30 minutes after you've eaten, because it can cause a dumping syndrome. Do not eat too fast because it can cause a dumping syndrome. And what the dumping syndrome is you get very, very nauseous. You basically end up having to throw up. Sorry guys, the hubby called real quick. So I think I was talking about dumping syndrome. So basically, if you eat too fast, or if you eat something like, for example, if I eat ice cream, there are many times that it makes me sick and it gives me like that dumping syndrome feeling. And when you have this surgery, at least for me and for a lot of people that I know that have had this gastric bypass surgery, you can't throw up like a normal person unless you just ate and like the food is up here. Once the food goes down, all you could really throw up, and I'm sorry if this is TMI, but it's just like clear liquid. Let's just leave it at that. But you get very nauseous, you start to sweat, you feel icky. It's very hard to explain. It's just a very unpleasant feeling. So you want to definitely stay away from eating too fast, drinking things too fast, because that can happen. And especially in the summertime, I remember, oh my gosh, guys, going out after having surgery is like, after the first year, I think it becomes a little easier. But when you're in that first year window, going out to a restaurant is so hard because people don't understand. And like they tell you, order from the kids menu. Because you're not going to be able to eat a big portion of food or stick to appetizers and things like that. Alcohol was something that I could not drink while I was eating, or even after I ate. It would hit me very, very hard. It would get me tipsy very hard after just one drink that rarely had any alcohol in it. Now I can drink and it's okay. Like it won't hit me as hard as it used to. So yeah, anyhow, but I was happy because I lost the weight. I went down. So my wedding pictures, I think I'm going to insert them at the end of this clip. I'll insert a picture to show you guys of my wedding pictures. I was down to my lowest. I was about 160, which for me, I'm about 5'5", I would say. For me, I looked skinny. Like Alex hates it because he says you could see my collarbones. Like he says that I was just way too skinny. He's never liked me to be that thin because he says that like in my face, it just isn't me. He says that I look sick and he doesn't like to see me like that. And looking back at some of the pictures where I was like at my lowest weight, I was like a size 6'8", more of an 8 than a 6. but that was probably my lowest size. And I think weight wise on a scale, I want to say my lowest was at 160. Could have very well have been 150, 155, but I wasn't weighing myself as much, so I'm just gonna say 160. But yeah, guys, I was super skinny for me, and I was happy. I liked it. I was enjoying myself. I was finally able to wear a two-piece bathing suit without feeling like, oh my god, they're staring at me, she's too big to be wearing this, she's too this, she's too that. Then it became about saggy skin. Then I was so like, oh my god, now it's like I have saggy skin, I can't even wear a bikini. A lot of people were able to go back to a doctor or a surgeon and get their get tummy tucks, and some of the insurance companies were covering this because of other medical health conditions that could develop if they did not. That's what I heard, and I knew people that were getting this done. I personally just I don't know, guys, I don't think I ever really tried. I know I called my insurance, they told me no. I said okay, no problem. That's all I needed to know, and I left it at that. But I've always been left with the insecurity of having my mom belly, or my mom pouch like I call it. But I also did have 3 babies. So, you know, at the end of the day, are we ever happy? No, we're not. We're always going to look for something. Look at me. I went from going from 277 to about 160. That's 117 pounds. That's like a whole person, guys. I lost like a whole person, and I was still looking for things that I could fix. Okay. So then we got married. I have my son. And after I had, well, with my pregnancy with Jaden, it was high risk because I had my back issues and I had my gastric bypass surgery. I had to go have iron infusions. That's another thing. You can become iron deficient. You can become B12. You can have a B12 deficiency. You could have a lot of different vitamin deficiencies, which is why they tell you that for the rest of your life, you have to drink certain vitamins. Now, what they don't tell you is that some people's stomachs don't absorb, I think I'm saying that right, absorb those vitamins correctly anymore. And what tends to happen is that now that they develop a deficiency, so now they have to have those vitamins either injected in them or they have to have iron diffusions. That was me. Even before my pregnancy, I was anemic. That's another thing I forgot to mention. When my girls were about, I want to say 9 and 8, maybe no, a little younger because it was before Jaden, around 8 and 7, around that, maybe 4 years into my surgery, I passed out at home, not knowing why. I wasn't feeling fatigue, I wasn't feeling tired. I woke up one day, went to brush my teeth, remember getting dizzy, woke up on the floor, went running to the room, called my husband from the bed because I said to myself, if I fall, I'll fall on the bed and I won't hit my head like I had just done in the bathroom. So long story short, I go into the hospital right away. They do blood work, and yeah, my hemoglobin, which normally should be up at about a 13 for us women because we do have a period, I believe 14 is the norm, it was down to a, what was it, an 8, which is crazy low. And they had to give me iron infusions aside from a blood transfusion and plasma. So I had to receive plasma, blood transfusions. They gave me, I think, 2 or 3 blood transfusions while I was in the hospital. I was there for almost a week, and iron infusions, plus B12 injections. So then it became a norm that then, of course, throughout my pregnancy, I had to go back to getting the iron infusions. I used to work in New York City. I had to drive from New York to Patterson, which is about a 45-minute drive without traffic, during the hot summer months. And I used to have to get an iron infusion 2 or 3 times a week. Then Alex would give me the B12 injections at home. So we never had an issue with that because he learned quickly how to give me the injections. And luckily, thank God, he was able to give me those. So yes, so I always had to have blood work done and all that stuff to make sure that my numbers were okay. Up until recently, guys, just last summer, I was still getting iron infusions. I probably need them again. But I have to get checked to see if I do. But yeah, so that was happening. It never stops happening, at least for me. I was not able to just take iron supplements. It just doesn't work for me. I have to get the infusions whenever my levels are low. So then I get pregnant with Jaden. I give birth to Jaden. He's still little. I'm now trying to lose weight. I finally end up losing about, I want to say, I think in my pregnancy I went up to 215. I went back probably down to like 200. Yeah, I think about to 200. Then I started gaining weight again. I remember the highest I went to was 222. That's when I said, nope, I have to stop. Something is wrong. So I went back to the doctor, and I remember that I saw his partner. And she said to me, well, it looks like the stoma, well, it was a he. He said to me, it looks like the stoma, which is the opening to your stomach, has expanded from 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters. So of course, to find this out, I'm forgetting to tell you that they sent me to the hospital to do 2 tests. One was to drink a liquid, and they see it going down, and they do kind of like, I don't know if it's a CAT scan, I forgot what the test is called. And the other one was an endoscopy. So the endoscopy showed that my stoma had expanded. So they tell me, well, what we can do is what they call a bypass reversal. And when you think of bypass reversal, you're thinking that they're reversing the surgery. No, what they're doing is they're going back in there, they're tightening the entryway to your stomach. So, which is the stoma. So they would tighten the stoma from 2 back to 1. Okay, cool, they do that. Guys, all I lost, I had to undergo surgery again, right? So let's keep that in mind. I went through the pain of waking up from surgery, all of that. The only amount that I was able to lose, and I firmly believe that it was because I was back on a liquid diet for 2 weeks, was like 15 pounds. So I went back to like maybe 195, about 222, about 105 or 195, around there, let's say. And I couldn't lose anything else. Like, I was still eating normal. I don't eat like a normal person does, but more than what I used to. And it was just crazy to me. I was like, what? Like, that's just insane. Like, I went through surgery and this is all I lost. I got frustrated with it. I didn't go back to the doctor, and I just stayed like that. And then I started losing weight again. But I started losing weight because I started watching what I was eating. I was dieting and things like that. For me, I can't do hardcore exercises like normal people because I have a rod and screws in my back. So it's not like I can go to the gym. It's not like I like hardcore. It's not like I can do sit-ups, push-ups, things like that. So I was like, okay, well, at least I lost the weight. Well, then I remember after I had my back surgery and I got off all the medication that they had me on from the pain and the back surgery, because pain medicine makes you nauseous, so you don't want to eat. Once I got off of all of those pills, my weight started spiking back up. And that's probably like the last 3 years. My weight has been going up, and I've been like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? Last summer, I was at my highest again. I went up to 270, like 270, 275. I think it was 273, around there. And I remember seeing those numbers on the scale, and I was like, oh my God. I was so upset. So I ended up going back to my surgeon and asking like, hey, like, what's going on? They did the test again. She was like, well, the stoma hasn't really expanded. The doctor that originally did my first surgery, he retired. So I wasn't able to see him. She started talking to me about taking metformin. And I think it was just metformin that she mentioned to me. Well, my husband takes metformin. It is for diabetes. He's lost weight on it. I tried taking it and I didn't see a difference in me at all. So I was like, that's not going to work for me. And she spoke to me very slightly about the injections that are out there now. Those Olympia, I forgot what they're called. Olympic, I think it is. I don't know, guys. But Ozempic, I don't know, something like that, that's out there now, that it's a drug that is more so for people that have diabetes. It's injected in them, and it helps them lose, well, it helps with the diabetes, but it's been helping a lot of people lose weight. I've seen horror stories, I've seen good stories, I've seen tons of bad side effects, and I've heard about the good side effects. I have not gone down that road, and I'm not choosing to, mostly because right now I don't have health insurance. If I did, and if it covered it, I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't try it. But here's my thing, right? So you have these people that are getting this magic shot, and this magic shot that is over $1,000 per injection, and that most insurance companies do not cover unless a doctor says that you're diabetic. People are getting it, they're losing weight, just like I did with the surgery, and then they're off the shot, and then what happens? You're gonna gain the weight back. My assumption, I don't know if this is true. I have not followed someone that has gotten these shots and has been off of them for a long period of time. I'm just telling you what my assumption is, because I went through it twice with the surgery. The second time it didn't even work for me. So I don't know. I don't know if these injections are good or not. I can tell you, if I had to go back, would I have gotten the gastric bypass surgery? Yes, I would have, and I would not change my mind on that, because I feel that that really helped me gain my self-confidence back to a point where now, whether I'm overweight or not, I still have the same self-confidence, thankfully, because I really lacked it back then. And although last summer I was heavy, I didn't feel as down as I've felt in the past when I've gained weight. So that definitely shows me that I have grown as a person. Some people could sit here and argue and say, well, Jen, that's just you. We all grow, we all evolve. Yes, it maybe very well can be just me, that I've grown as an adult, as a person, I've evolved. Or it can be that because I've experienced both sides, it's just like I'm tired. Like, who cares if you're skinny, if you're fat or overweight? I don't care. Okay, we're all beautiful. I think that there's such a stigma. So growing up in a Cuban household, I'm gonna give you guys a short little story here so that you guys can kind of see why it effed up with my head so much. Okay, I was a young mom. I was obviously young when I was heavy. I was in my early 20s, probably when I was at my heaviest. And I remember one day having a family member over my grandmother's house, and we were barbecuing outside. So it was summertime. I was dressed in summer clothes. I think I was wearing shorts and like a tank top. And I remember having on, they were Steve Madden shoes actually. And they were like chunky ones, kind of like the ones that we wore in the 90s. And I remember him making a comment to me, saying something like I was too heavy to be wearing what I was wearing. And then my grandmother making a comment to me saying that I looked like a cow at my weight with the shoes that I had on. And I just remember getting so upset and getting so angry that day. And I was embarrassed. My husband was there. You know, we weren't married yet, but Alex and I had already been together for many years. And I remember feeling so embarrassed. And I said to myself, I am never going to let anyone ever make me feel that way again about myself. And that was, I think, one of the strong points and one of the reasons why I wanted the surgery so much. And now if you say something like that to me, I would either tell you off, flip you off, or tell you I'm gonna pray for you because you need help. Because that's just sick to do to someone. Hearing things like that and talking down to people just because they're heavier than what you think they should be, how dare you? How dare you judge someone? Let people be. Let people feel comfortable in their own skins. Maybe some people like to be thick. Maybe some people have no choice. Maybe some people just have bad genes. Maybe it's hereditary. Maybe they're on medication that makes them gain weight that they need to be on because it's a life or death situation. Maybe some people are too skinny because they can't gain weight. Maybe they're too skinny because the medication that they're on doesn't make them hungry and they can't help it. Stop telling people you're too skinny. Stop telling people you're too fat. No one is too much of anything. That's your opinion, not theirs. Now, if the person is not happy and you see that they're depressed, make them feel good about themselves. Stop telling them that they're too fat. If you feel that they feel down about themselves, then say, do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to, like, I'm going to start walking at X amount of, like, let's say 5 o'clock every day. Do you want to join me and walk and see if that helps you get out of your funk? And maybe it'll help you lose weight. Try to come up with solutions instead of pointing the finger and telling them you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. I think that weight loss surgery, just like this injection that is out there, is something that can help people fast, but I don't think it's something for the long term, in my opinion. Everyone is going to have their own opinion. I think that for long-term things, I think that it's definitely something that we have to look for that's going to work for us. For me, I recently, from last summer to now, I've lost about 35. I think I'm at, about 35 pounds. I think right now I'm at 238, so maybe a little more than 35 pounds. And guys, I don't know how I've done it. I can honestly tell you that it started happening more in December when I moved into this new house. I don't know if it was that I was tired of living where we were before, if I was stressed out. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my job. I don't know. But I know that I've been eating healthier. I've been watching what I eat. When I want something sweet, I try to have it in moderations and things like that. And that's what's helped me. Like I said, I can't go to the gym as much as I wish I could. My husband has a gym membership, and I actually went with him not too long ago, and I was able to do the bike for a little bit, and my legs started hurting because I also have nerve damage from my back issues, but I worked through it and I was able to stay for as long as he needed to stay to do his workout. So that is something that I'm going to try to do whenever we get the chance to do. But for the most part, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that this helps someone out there that's looking into surgeries, into the injection. At the end of the day, you're beautiful no matter what. Those that love you are gonna love you no matter what. Those that hate you are gonna hate you even I want to say even more if you do lose weight, but no, I'm not gonna say that. They're gonna hate you regardless of if you lose weight, if you gain weight. People are always going to throw shade no matter what you do with your life. That's something I've learned the hard way. You're gonna lose friends, you're gonna gain friends, and that has nothing to do with a size. It has nothing to do with a job. It has nothing to do with anything but that person's insecurities. Okay, so again, if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. Let me know. If you guys have questions about, I can't really speak on the shop because again, I've never had it done, but if you guys have any more questions about the gastric bypass surgery, please let me know down in the comments. I will be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. I hope that this video helps someone out there. I hope it helps someone that is struggling on making the decision. My purpose of this video is just to share with you guys my story. It's not to sway someone into having surgery, into not having surgery, into getting the injection, into not getting the injection. So just a disclaimer. Okay, love you all, friends. I hope you guys subscribe to my channel, hit that like, leave me a comment down below, and hit the bell so that you get notified each and every time I upload a new video. Love you, amigas. Take care. Bye, guys.